Constable amends statement implicates bosses in Ojwang police cell. This is a statement by Constable James Mukwana, who went and told the IPOA that the earlier statement issued, earlier was false, and it was just a way of covering up for the police, as it always is, covering up for the police officers. And this he came out yesterday with the different information, claiming that he is ready to confess or he is ready to speak the truth, because he realized that he is being taken as a scapegoat in this whole situation. And he gave out truth about what transpired that night, and he said that all of them were taking orders from a DIG, and he now requests for protection since this revelation. That is something we'll be looking at this morning. And also the Standard, is it the Standard? The Standard, no, just resign, quite a bold headline. The Deputy Inspector General of Police, that is Eliud Lagat, announced that he was stepping aside. And allow investigations to continue. And Standard is saying, no, we don't want you to step aside, just resign. And this is following the mounting pressure, especially from the public, who led demonstrations on Budget Day, that is last week, demanding his resignation. And I don't know what exactly this means. If it is what is stepping aside, because in normal circumstances, we know it is something to do with you resigning, or you definitely you resigning, or you being given a letter that you should leave office immediately, because that is what we've seen with other police officers who are involved in the same. We've seen interdiction, but in this case we are seeing stepping aside. I don't know what exactly that stepping aside means. If it means that after investigation will he be going back to the offices. And also the Star this morning, we have the Star giving us the same headline as the two newspapers that Lagat gives in DIG steps aside over death of teacher Albert Ojwang. And this is a similar story. It cuts across all the three newspapers that I'm having with me this morning. It is about Lagat stepping aside from his position to allow IPOA conduct its investigation to the fullest. This is something that has also been supported by Interior Cabinet Secretary, that is Kipchumba Murkomen, who says it will be mandatory for police stations to have CCTV, and this will be across all the 1,000+ police stations across the country. And this move is going to take 2 years to be completed to allow for accountability in police officers. A similar situation has been seen in the country over the past years, that brutality is ongoing within police stations, where those who were detained or those who were taken to police custody, under the guise punishment, they are given a brutal beating by fellow detainees in the stations, just to give punishment. But that is something that Murkomen says it shall not be seen anymore, because it says after the CCTV footages are installed in the police stations, the OCS will be required to report malfunction within 1 hour. And this appeal will be made even to the parliament to allow them make crimes related to tampering with CCTV footages punishable by law. So Murkomen is really coming hard on this. So still on the same, we have looking at the Daily Nation. It has several stories there on the highlight, not on the highlight, on the front page. It's giving us a little bit of politics. It's Uhuru versus Gachagua in battle for Mount Kenya. And this happens after the Jubilee party is coming out strong in retaliation, or rather facing DCP party, that is the party led by impeached Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. And they're all fighting for the mountain, for a space in the mountain. You know, Gachagua is in the move to get to rally votes or all the elective positions from the Mount Kenya region. And Jubilee Party is also coming in to counter that. So there is a fight for the Mount Kenya region. And the Daily Nation still on education, it says the state starves learners with budget cuts to school feeding plan. There's quite a lot of conversation going around the funding of the education sector, despite the fact that the education sector in the budget 2025-2026 having received the lion's share in the budget, the highest percentage considered to all other ministries, there is still a number of complaints. So much has been cut in that budget or that allocation. Teachers Service Commission is going to receive more than 50% of the allocated budget. And there is a complaint about the decision for private schools or to limit the amount of capitation directed towards funding or sponsoring the examination in the education sector, and parents may be forced, especially those in private school, may be forced to pay for the education fees, because Mbadi says that he does not see the logic of subsidizing payment for parents who are able to pay for it. So that is also another complaint in the education sector. And the Daily Nation this morning is highlighting the feeding plan, cuts on the feeding plan that is for learners going to school. I don't know if it's only Nairobi County, because Nairobi County has a program called Dish in a County by the county government of Nairobi. So that is, it's good for them. But for other counties who do not have such programs, they are complaining about these cuts. And we've seen also the Council of Governors complaining that the control of budgets should be sacked, and they are really pushing for this, for her to be ousted from office, because they say they queue a lot, all of them coming for approval of their invoices, coming for approval of their, what do we call them? The tenders they're having, or the funding to schools that is through bursaries. And they complain that the control of budgets has had so many obstacles that are barring them from having smooth transfer of money or funds to counties, to schools for projects in their respective counties. So this, all at large, is stemming down to how the education sector is going to be affected, because there's so much complaints surrounding it. And in health, the Daily Nation says, defying for treatment, how SHA is killing kidney failure patients. And there's quite some complaint, because the health insurance fund contains three components, that is the SHA, SHIF, and the chronic illnesses fund. But as per now, the contributions that are made to health insurance, most of them go to primary health fund, that is SHA, and that is a contribution that is made by a larger number of employees, that is whose deductions are cut directly from the employers or from the common citizens who pay their monthly contributions to SHA, that is of around 300 shillings as per the minimum that is supposed to be contributed. And most of these are contributed to the Social Health Authority, that is the primary health care, which means these are sub-county hospitals, the dispensaries, those that deals with these common illnesses like malaria, you know, the common illnesses that we encounter day to day. But for the chronic illnesses and the Social Health Insurance Fund, the two remaining components, most of them are not receiving funding or contribution. And that means that even as the government issues funding to hospitals, most of them will be going to primary health care, leaving the tertiary health care, where you get referrals, having limited capitation. And that is a story highlighted also on the Daily Nation on health. So those are just some of the stories on our dailies. If you wish to get more of these stories on the health, on the Daily Nation, it's on page 10. And education, the story on education, how state starves learners with budget cuts, is on page 8. The story on Lagat is given prominence on page 2, 3, 4, and 5. That is on the Daily Nation. On the Standard, The story of Lagat is given prominence on pages 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. That is just a conversation talking about Lagat. He's the detention of OCS, Nairobi OCS, that is Talam, and the death surrounding Albert Ojwang. Just to mention, which we'll be discussing also on the newspaper review this morning, is the statement made by the father of the late Albert Ojwang. The president made a personal call to him and offered his condolences and offered 2 million Kenyan shillings to help in the running of the burial ceremony. And we have seen, if you're keen on checking on tones, we have seen a tone down from the father of the late Albert Ojwang. So this morning we'll also be asking a question. Will money solve this problem? Or after the government has issued this compensation of 2 million Kenyan shillings, and we've also seen the government of Homa Bay is constructing a 2-bedroom house for the late, the family of the late Albert Ojwang. So we've seen the government really coming in through the county government, the national government, even the president making a personal call to the father of the late Albert Ojwang. And since then, we have seen a tone down from the family. And they're saying they really thank the president for considering Albert Ojwang as a personal son to him, that so many youths have lost their lives, but the president did not make a personal call. So we'll be asking a question this morning. Is compensation the way to go, and everything should be put behind our backs? Because speaking the truth, his life cannot be brought back to, he cannot be brought back to life. And the political class have also taken advantage of this situation. And looking at experiences, former experiences of this country, IPOA took almost 60 cases regarding the death of Gen Zs during last year's finance bill protest, and every abduction that has come since from that. And we've only seen around 2 that have made their way to courts. So looking at the records of IPOA, are we hopeful that there is going to be justice for Ojwang, or should we just tuchukue pole ambao tumepewa na rais kwamba all will be well, and the compensation of 2 million Kenyan shillings and construction of a house, all is well, and leave everything else to the Independent Police Oversight Authority, IPOA? So that is a question we'll be asking this morning with my panelists, Emmanuel Kutosi and Ojwang Mariam, this morning. So at this point, let me introduce to you a game that is known as the Jamhuri edition, that is Kenya in 50. That is a game, Kenya at 50, and it is a game that is played. You are supposed to answer questions in 50 seconds, and I'll just pull out a card randomly. We'll be playing this game with Ojwang Mariam and Kutosi to see how well we know our country. Personally, I would say that I'm just a small girl. I may not know the country. I may not know the country that much. So if I'll be failing, please forgive me on that. But we'll be having this game, Kenya at 50, and we'll be asking questions or giving insights on what is happening on the cards. So if you're seeing this card, it has several names. I don't know if you can see it from where you are, but it has several names on it. So you give hints. I'm just telling you how the game plays, because probably you can't see from your screens. But it is a card. It has several cards. You pick a card, and then there are several names there. And as per the team, you give your team member hints on the name of, so that you can mention the name on the card. So as you give hints, it's like you're bringing back history or talking about Kenya in 50 years, or generally our history for the last 50 years or more, and Kenya's achievements, our food, what we value, our cultural heritage, our languages, our artists, and everything that makes Kenya Kenya. So that is the game we'll be playing this morning. Just to give the card that I pick, it has several names. It has the board that is responsible for managing drug and alcohol abuse in the country. So we have that. We have a news presenter who is very famous in the country. She's a radio presenter. And we have a very prominent person in Kenya's history in terms of legislation. So we have a tribe also here, and it is from the western region. we know the way they say that Luyas have some, I don't know if it's Luyas or no. Bukusu is a sub-tribe of Luya. So Luyas have several sub-tribes. So it is a sub-tribe in the Luya community. Very interesting to see. So most of us don't really know so much about our country. So that's a game we'll be playing with Ojwang Mariam and Emmanuel Kutosi. But before we get into fun moments in this show this morning, Biashara Tuesday, we are going to take a look at what is happening on the roads and the weather situation. All right, now yesterday on Thika Road, we witnessed an accident involving a school bus that was not painted yellow. You know this, just to give a brief history about the painting of yellow. When buses were being painted yellow, I was in high school, and I remember that time we had had a new, hey, let me mention how we used to call it, a new Scania, and it was a big deal for us. It was painted white and gold. And the goal of everyone, because it's new, everyone wanted to board the bus before it was painted yellow. And it was Matiang'i era, and everyone was saying that Matiang'i wants everything to look like bananas. And yesterday, we saw so much complaints about I think it was pink or purple, I'm a little bit colorblind, but the matatu was ferrying students to school, and it overturned. It was unfortunate, overturned, and fortunately, no student lost their lives, and they were taken to hospital. So we saw a very huge traffic along Thika Road, that is around Garden City, all the way to Githurai. But today, looking at the traffic situation, all looks okay, because as I was coming to work this morning, it was around 6 in the morning. Everything looked quite okay on Thika Road. That is from where we are right now, because I'd like to begin from where we are. That is from bypass all the way to Wendani to Githurai, because we are located at Kenyatta University. So everything looked fine. But as we move forward, heading towards town, that is if you're coming from Outer Ring Road, immediately after Outer Ring Road, joining to Thika Road. If you can use another alternative, good for you, because there is quite a snarl up from Allsops all the way to Muthaiga interchange. That is those joining from Kiambu Road, joining towards Thika Road, entering towards town. So all the way from Allsops to Pangani interchange. Is it Muthaiga interchange or Pangani interchange? The interchange that joins from those coming from Kiambu Road, that interchange. It is quite a traffic. And if you can use other alternatives, those who are using, coming from Don Hall, mwale watu wanatoka Kware and Don Home, Feather, Pipeline. So if you can use the other alternative, where you will be joining through Mombasa Road, that is from is it Southern Bypass or Eastern Bypass? Good for you. It will be easier for you to get to town early. But still, those who are using Mombasa Road, that is those who are joining through that interchange, that junction that is around Nairobi West Hospital heading to town, your way also looks not so good, because there's quite snarl up. So if you can pay for the expressway, good for you, because the expressway is smoother. And those who are coming from Valley Road, Ngong Road, joining to town through Mombasa Road, also your road today does not look quite okay. Those who are joining to Mombasa Road through areas around Sarit, your ways also looks not okay. Those are just some of the roads that are not smooth this morning heading to town, but all the other roads, the traffic is moving quite okay. So if you're coming from the roads that I've mentioned, please use other alternative heading to town. And I think those who are coming from Jogoro this morning, your road looks quite okay. And those who are entering through Gikomba Market and all that, your road looks quite okay. And also those who are joining through, which road is this? That is, it's still Mombasa Road. There is quite red marks, red spots all over, spontaneously along Mombasa Road. So if you can use other alternatives. That is well and good for you. So that is on the traffic situation this morning. And now on the weather situation in Nairobi, it is quite it is not so hot this morning. Yesterday we had a chilled weather, and today is also looking the same from where we are right now. We are in studio, so we can't really tell what the weather situation is outside. But when we were outside, it was chilly, a very chilly morning. The sun was shining bright. And right now, we are taking a very short break. We'll be back with more.
So my name is Jakub Petri. I'm Associate Professor in the Institute of Philosophy of Jagiellonian University in Krakow, Poland. And I'm the main coordinator of the Cafe project, which is being here hosted by Kenyatta University.
My name is Ewa Hudoba. I am a project manager in this consortium. Keep watching cutting-edge research at Kenyatta University Television.
Access to knowledge, solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more only on Law Matters.
Naam, karibu tena mpenzi mtazamaji, hapa ni KUTV, kipindi hewani ni mitindo ya kipwani na niko pwani napunga upepo wa bahari Hindi. Raha iliyoje mpenzi mtazamaji kuungana nami jamani kwenye mitindo ya kipwani. Inafahamika kama North Coast Beach Hotel. Hii ndio hoteli ya kifahari ambayo imenipa mwaliko na ambayo imedhamini kipindi cha mitindo ya kipwani. Kipindi chenyewe unaletewa moja kwa moja kutoka hapa KUTV kwenye kipindi cha mitindo ya kipwani, yani kinarushwa mbashara kutoka North Coast Beach Hotel. Mpenzi mtazamaji, hali ndio kama ilivyo.
Baada ya kutafuta kazi, tunaweza kuanzisha miradi yetu ambayo ingetusaidia kubadilisha maisha ya wazazi wetu.
Kwa vijana wenzangu, wengi walio wana kazi, lakini ikiwa sisi wenyewe tutajiamini, tunaweza kujiajiri wenyewe.
Afrika kwa kweli tuna mahitaji ambayo ukiyasuluhisha unaweza kuathiri watu kwenye bara hili.
Bila uoga, watu huwa na uzalishaji zaidi, wanajawa na ujasiri, wanakuwa wabunifu na wanakuwa wenye maarifa.
Niliamua kuacha kazi, hata kama sitafanikiwa, nitakuwa nimejaribu, nitakuwa najua haiwezekani.
Hakuna kitu cha ajabu hapa. Kila anayepata ufanisi hufanya kazi usiku na mchana.
Kitu kitakusukuma na kuwezesha kupata maarifa ambayo hukuwa nayo.
Tunajaribu kutengeneza kitu kitakachopita mipaka ya nchi hii.
Ikiwa unataka kubadilisha ulimwengu, anza na nyumbani.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audiovisual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4255 or SMS us on 0739-110-544. KUTV, a new experience.
KUTV nilipatia mahali pa kunawiri makali yangu. KUTV imenisaidia sana, and hadi wa leo I still meet people who tell me, si wewe ulianzeaga KUTV? Sikuamini. Mfano kabisa ningesema hujambo mtazamaji kwa sauti, lakini wakati huu nikisema hujambo, yani inakuja na ile command. Back then, as much as it's a long time ago, they still recall.
Unakumbuka nilikuwa hapa KUTV wakati huo. Alafu simu ikaingia namba 0719. Hello, this is the Standard Group.
So it shows that visibility is definitely important. Nikilinganisha safari hizo mbili, kuna utofauti mkubwa sana.
It was a dream come true for me.
Now, we have been, I told you before about Kenya at 50, and that is a game that is meant to help you know how well you know your country, how well you know Kenya, how well you understand your culture, how well you understand the people in the art industry, that is in music, in media, how well you understand your political leaders, also in governance, how well you understand the education sector, how well you understand history, and everything in between. So that is what we are going to have now. So you can see a snippet of what really happens on the game Kenya at 50. And after that snippet of that game, we'll be taking a look at the news updates this morning that will be leading to a discussion on the newspaper review this morning with Ojuang Mariam and Emmanuel Kutosi.
Counties.
Kilifi. Mtwapa. Malindi.
Okay. Hey. Is it mountains iko Nakuru?
Longonot.
Kabisa. Ila hii nimepita hapa hivi.
Iko da.
Iko na gari kubwa hivi. Barabara ya gari kubwa.
Two-way. And the next. Highway.
Hey. Simu ndogo.
Katuluda.
Lugha ingine. Swahili.
Kabambe.
Swahili.
And the next.
Alifanya kolabo na Opongo.
Femi One.
No. Alifanya kolabo na nani antaje? OG. Anakanga geishi hivi nasema hivi. Ni dem.
Saru.
Okay, next. Like ukitaka kwenda mahali unasema unaenda?
Nenda hivi na kama.
And the city.
No, like that word kuni word ni unasema kama unaenda place fulani unaenda?
Nenda hivi.
Kama ni bash unasema unaenda?
Nenda sherehe, nenda form.
Nice one. Aha. Kama kuna jam unatumianga? Pikipiki.
Buda.
Another one.
Nduthi.
Nice one. Movie za Kenya zinakuanga kwa hiyo app.
Showmax.
Nice one. Wow. Kusema nini, like if you want something from someone,
Nisaidie.
Oh, nice. Nile.
Mteja wa nambari uliopiga.
Chakula inakwanga na green inakaa ya ugali.
Relax.
Guy, dance wanaendanga kushindana dance. Wamepata. Alafu guy, au wengine mimi sijui. Huyu ni nani hata? Nisamee.
Watu wanaendanga kukula jioni ama usiku kwa party.
Dina.
Zizi na ni like ni moja. Na ni moja and then inachomwa.
Nyama choma.
Place nani anatoka? Place director anatoka.
Mkwao.
Penye zita kiko.
Ruiru.
Good. Jina ya askari, jina ya askari, like jina.
Police officer.
Jina ya mtaa.
Karao.
Yes. Kitu inaipangwa kwa kate ya rep.
Luban.
Nyingine.
Registration ya maboys. Hapana. Enye akina Trimenami fanya kazi. Basi. Haya. Ukisema kusalimiana na Kiswahili. Kiswahili sanifu. Hiyo
Habari yako.
Habari. Haya. Haya, tumetoka zile shops ziko pale na jina ya local inaitangwaje? Shops za kama tuko barabara.
Kibanda.
Haya, jina Kiswahili na Kizungu. Hapana.
Kiosk.
Basi, kiosk. Haya. Mtu anazikangwa ndani ya nini?
Coffee.
Kiswahili. Hapana. Inaitangwaje? Na Kiswahili.
Next.
Haya. Show yenye nani alikuwa anafanya? Inaitangwaje?
Time is out.
Sanduku. Jeneza.
Nini? Wanahitaji 14. Nini? Gavana wa Nairobi. Unalisakiwa.
Next.
Wow. Na hiyo ni 20 marks wallahi.
Mike Sonko.
Kabisa. Iward wallahi. Kiswahili.
Gani? Jaribu kutafuta kwa hizo zingine.
Hiyo vienyo hii hapo mwenyewe tumia sana
Facebook
kabisa. Hii word bana cheki wa Kiswahili. 40 Kiswahili man.
40.
20. 40.
Huwa anafunza. Mwalimu. Nice one. Akona mimba. Na Kiswahili.
Mjamzito.
Nice one. Zile vitu long. Zile nyama mwenye anakwanga mtoto.
Giraffe.
Like another one.
Ngamia.
No, ako right. Sasa I had another.
Giraffe. Inaitangwa nje.
Yenye watu wanataka kuona huko.
Kuziona.
Nice one. Huwa mnatafuna mnameza
Miwa.
Nice one. Kuna media houses huwa zinafanya kwa sababu ya pesa.
Rent.
No. Like wanafanya advertisement kwa sababu huko ndo
commercial.
Nice one.
Time imeisha.
Shit.
Time is out.
Mtu mwenye watu wakiwa na shida ya mapenzi namba yake inakuwa imeandikwa kila mahali kwa word moja wanakuanga kitu wengi. Uganga, yes. Kuna kitu mwalimu anatumia kuchapa watoto.
Fimbo.
Kiboko. Yes. Alafu kuna place ingine iko Thika Road, ni the same na kitu inatumikanga kama beverage. Place iko Thika Road.
Kahawa.
Yes, good. Alafu kuna kitu ni kama kwa chai inafanya chai inakuwa na utamu.
Sukari.
Hapana. Kwa kizungu
sugar.
Aya, kuna radio station fulani yenye iko na inakuanga ya Kikuyu.
Kameme.
Hapana.
Inoro.
Good. Alafu kuna
Okay, kuna chai yenye tunakunywanga kama comrades yenye hainanga. Thank you. Kuna ile kitu kuna ule mwenye anakuanga NRG fulani mkonde hivi mrefu okay, nikikwambia tuseme for example 50 bob. Thank you. Boy. Kuna ile mdudu fulani ya black yenye inakuanga kwa mafia ng'ombe na Kikuyu. Yeah. Upepo. Yes, I should have explained. That's enough for the day, guys.
Kenya huyu na huyu wanakunywa
pombe.
Kulikuwa na terror attack in Kenya, place inaitwa
Westgate.
Al-Shabaab.
Fuck. So how watu group ya how watu
Al-Shabaab
terrorist.
Nishasema Kenya walikuwa hapa.
Kwenye university ya UNISEC.
Juja.
Haya. Nini ya news yenye Jeff Kenange alikuwa anafanya before arudi Kenya?
Nini? Ilikuwa ni BBC ama
ni ingine yeye zinakaribiana hivi.
CNN.
Basi CNN. Haya. Ukitaka kuitisha nini? Drink. Na si juice na si pombe. Unasemanga?
Nipe shots.
Hapana, inakuanga readily available, yani inakuanga kwa nini? Kwa Rivers.
Take away.
Kai. Aya. Mwenye anaendeshanga ndege?
Maji.
Alafu na Kiswahili?
Nahodha.
Si ndio?
Hapana. Aya, ukiita nani anakufulianga nguo?
Mama fundi.
Bas,
Ama ni rubani huyo.
Basi rubani, Haya. Hapo kwa maji. Unafanyanga nini ukitaka maji? Unasemanga aje? Pewa maji.
Lakini umepata mingi.
Nini wanahitaji?
Mubarak.
Sasa kucheza ball ile iko long
pitch. Kasarani.
Kabisa.
Come on.
Ukiwa nini like umeng'edhia.
Kuzuba.
Hii nini? Hii company ya miwa iko Western.
Umias.
Sasa ni full.
Umias sugar.
Kabisa. We.
Na hii ya black.
Ndio shamaliza.
No need. Sare. Na tumesare. Mapema.
Right, that is a perfect game for those who say, who write on their CVs, I can work well under pressure. Because that game, it takes 50 seconds for you to answer those questions in a card. And if you're a person who can work well under pressure, that's perfect for you. We'll be playing that game with Ojwang Mariam and Emmanuel Kutosi. All of them have on their on their CVs, I can work well under pressure. So we'll see if they will be. We'll be seeing that this morning. So that is the game that I was telling you about, Kenya at 50. It's a game that
helps you, or it's a game of how well you know Kenya. And if you know Kenya very well, you can answer those questions smoothly. And also, it's not just about you answering those questions smoothly. I think it's also about the person giving you hints. How well do they know Kenya? Because if someone is giving you a hint that is not relatable to anything in Kenya, then even if you know Kenya very well, you may not be able to know what they're talking about. So at this point, we'll be taking a look at news updates shortly after this bumper. All right, now this is the news update this morning following the increased pressure over the murder of social media influencer Albert Ojwang. Deputy Inspector General of Police Eliud Lagat has finally stepped down from his office as Deputy Inspector General of Police. Through a letter from his office issued on Monday evening, Lagat also sent his condolences to the family of the late Albert Ojwang and stated that he is ready to provide any information required in that case.
Deputy Inspector General of Police Eliud Lagat has finally stepped aside from his office through a letter issued by his office today. This follows public pressure and calls for the resignation of the officer who is allegedly involved in the murder of social media influencer and teacher Albert Ojwang, who was found dead at the Central Police Station. Ojwang is alleged to have posted information against the senior police officer. According to Lagat's letter, his office is now under his deputy, who will hold the position until the Independent Policing Oversight Authority (IPOA) completes investigation into the murder of Albert Ojwang. Lagat expressed his condolences to the family of the late Albert Ojwang, announcing that he is willing to provide any information required in the ongoing investigations on Albert Ojwang's murder. Blue Smile Hassan, KUTV.
Now, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen has affirmed government's efforts to take strong legal action against all police officers who break the law when dealing with the public. According to Murkomen, although worse incidents have been experienced in the past, the progressive nature of the law and policy will soon make such occurrences rare in our country. Murkomen assured that incidents such as bodies being dumped in the Yala River, the case of Indian nationals killed in a container at a police station, cases of abductions, incarceration, detention without trial, and recently the death of Albert Ojwang while in the hands of police, among others, shall be punishable by law, and those involved will soon be held accountable.
The past, the progressive nature of our law and policy will soon make such occurrences rare in our country. Incidents such as bodies being dumped in Yala River, the case of Indian nationals killed in a container at police station, cases of abductions, incarcerations, detention without trial, and recently the death of Mr. Albert Ojwang while in the hands of police, among others, must be punished by law, and those involved will soon be held accountable.
Now, former Chief Justice David Maraga has called for the arrest and prosecution of the Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja, his deputy Eliud Lagat, and the Director of Criminal Investigation DCI Mohammed Amin. Maraga accuses them of conspiring to cover up the murder of Albert Ojwang following conflicting statements that they had issued earlier.
In a statement to the media, the former Chief Justice David Maraga has condemned the murder of Albert Ojwang, claiming that security agencies were involved in a cover-up given the conflicting information they released. Maraga has demanded the arrest and prosecution of Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja, Deputy Inspector General Eliud Lagat, whom he directly implicates in Ojwang's murder, and the Director of Criminal Investigations Mohammed Amin.
The president, the buck stops with the president.
when something like the murder of Ojwang and very many others have happened, the president is supposed to call those who are concerned to either take action or leave.
Now, in recent times, the image of safety within police stations across Kenya has come under sharp scrutiny, with a growing number of deaths occurring in the hands of security officers, sparking alarm and raising countless unanswered questions. The case of Albert Ojwang is among those that have stirred national outrage. Steve Marsha with more.
As the mysterious death of a teacher and online influencer Albert Ojwang, while in the custody of security agencies, continues to be shrouded in a dark uncertainty, more incidents of death in police cells are being reported across the country. The most recent case involving a 36-year-old man who was allegedly found dead in a cell in Turi Town, Homa Bay County. Police in the area claimed that Calvin Omonda, a fisherman, committed suicide by hanging himself shortly after being taken into custody. The incident comes barely a week after a pregnant woman lost her 7-month-old pregnancy while in custody at Ranyambori, a police station in Nyandarua County. The occurrence of such cases continues to expose a state of confusion within security agencies, particularly regarding how they handle their duties. The conflicting statements between investigative authorities and security agencies continue to raise questions, seemingly without answer, concerning the death of Albert Ojwang. The initial report by Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja claimed that Ojwang was in a solitary cell. However, this contradicts a statement from the Independent Policing Oversight Authority (IPOA), which now alleges that 3 cellmates were used to kill Albert Ojwang. A further contradiction emerged after Ojwang post-mortem examination confirmed he was killed by a blunt force trauma, contrary to the official statements from the security agencies, which claimed he took his own life by banging his head against the wall. The question now rising, could these conflicting accounts be a deliberate strategy by security agencies to hide the truth? As the mystery deepens over the safety of suspects in the custody of security institutions, new questions emerge. Could be there more unreported deaths that occurred in custody? And if so, what measures have been taken to ensure justice for the victims? Stephen Masha, KUTV, Nairobi.
A section of Orange Democratic Movement ODM party members in Mombasa are calling for an immediate review and repeal of the Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act 2018 CMCA, suggesting that it has contributed to the harassment, arrest, and even killings of bloggers and youths. The group, led by Betty Sharon, linked the recent abduction and deaths of youths on the controversial law. She accused legislators of shedding crocodile tears after passing draconian legislation. The comments came in the wake of the strange murder of Albert Ojwang, a blogger and teacher, in a Nairobi police station after being arrested in Homa Bay.
It is because of this act that people are being kidnapped. It is because of this act that our children are being killed every day. When the parliamentarians want to pass the act that they believe is favoring them, they pass it without blinking an eye. Then they come back and shed crocodile tears when now it turns tables on us. We want this act to be reviewed. We are not going to sit and see our children die every day. Every day our children are being killed by the police, are being tortured by the police, and yet it is the same parliamentarians who passed the law that promotes this draconian law that promotes the act of killings and kidnapping.
Now, the Central Police Station OCS Samson Talam was arraigned in court yesterday. Talam's lawyer criticized rumors circulating on social media that the officer was arrested while trying to flee in Eldoret, saying that Talam voluntarily presented himself at the DCI headquarters. Talam has returned to the dock with his case related to the death of Albert Ojwang expected to be heard again on Wednesday. On the judges will decide whether Talam will continue to be held in custody as per the request of the Independent Police Oversight Authority (IPOA). Now, away from the death of Albert Ojwang, a regional push to rethink drug policy is underway following the launch of the Eastern and Southern Africa Commission on Drugs, ESACD, in Nairobi. The commission brings together former African presidents and experts advocating for a shift from criminalization to health-based approaches, focusing on care and ending punitive drug laws.
Cabinet Secretary, Interior and National Administration Kipchumba Murkomen welcomed the delegates and saluted Kalema Motlanthe, Chair Eastern and South Africa Commission on Drugs, for his leadership. He quoted President William Ruto's speech stating that Kenya recognizes the concept of rising drug availability, growing online markets and increased use across urban and rural areas as complex threat to youth, health system and security.
Because even the drugs that are being trafficked through this country from the northern part towards the south is accompanied by illegal firearm holders who basically, apart from providing protection to the traffickers, are also selling guns and ammunition. So this is really a whole conglomerate of criminal activities, and it's extremely important for me as the person currently charged with that responsibility to take advantage of the wonderful work that has been done by this commission to see how best we can work together to deal with these issues.
Speaking during the launch, former South African President Kalema Motlanthe said the region must move from viewing drug use as a crime to treating it as health and human rights issue. He emphasized that with findings and recommendations in place, it's time to act nationally, regionally, continentally, and globally while respecting national sovereignty. Former President of Mozambique, Joaquim Chissano, also said that illicit drugs continue to fuel violence, corruption, and instability in our region, as many states still lack evidence-based drug policies, relying on punitive measures over rehabilitation. As the region confronts a growing and increasingly complex drug crisis, leaders are calling for bold, united action grounded in science, compassion, and collaboration. Paulette Akoth, KUTV, Nairobi.
Now, the first cohort of 47 youths from vulnerable groups in Laikipia County brought together for sponsored technical training have finally graduated yesterday. This follows the partnership between Laikipia North Technical and Vocational College and community-based organization which targeted underprivileged persons for training on skills that can be monetized.
Several students from Laikipia County have benefited with various skills in Mayanat Indigenous Youth Life Skills and Cultural Development Center that was set up to provide technical skills to the vulnerable groups in the region at a lower tuition fee, especially the Morans from Maasai community.
This center was founded to address the needs of pastoralist youth, recognizing that the youth, there's very low transition of the youth to colleges and other tertiary institutions.
Mimi kuna furaha kubwa sana tele kwa sababu nashukuru kwesa hii kampuni ya Impact, kwa sababu mimi nimeshindwa kupeleka hii kijana yangu shule ingine juu sina school fees, lakini kwa hii shule wakati tu wameanza kujenga hapa nikasikia ni 5,000, nikashukuru Mungu kabisa.
Additionally, the partnership between TVET and Impact established more vocational colleges a decade ago in the northern region to cater for the marginalized groups in the region.
And we have today seen the graduation of 47 trainees in both in masonry, in carpentry, in plumbing, and even in hairdressing. Now, this partnership has taken us to many places, mainly the marginalized recesses of this country in the northern counties. We have been to as far places as Lamu, Tana River, Garissa, Baringo, Marsabit, Isiolo, and even Laikipia itself.
The graduates, filled with gratitude, expressed great support for the project despite the challenges they encounter through the learning process.
Na mimi sijaingia shule, lakini nilikuwa natamani hii kazi ya dressing. Hiyo ndio nimesomea. Nilikuwa na mpango ya kufungua salon na sasa nataka kuanza hiyo kazi.
Mimi ningependa kushukuru sana Impact sponsors wetu kwa kuleta hii mradi huko. Imesaidia sana hata wale warani wa huko nje waliokuwa idle wameacha kuwa idle, at least wamepata nafasi ya kusoma.
Tuko na challenge kadhaa huko. Challenge ya kwanza ni language barrier. Hatupatani lugha yao na lugha yenye tumezoea. Iko na challenge kidogo.
By integrating indigenous knowledge with practical skills and providing startup support, these centers offer a valuable pathway for rural youth to gain meaningful education and economic opportunities. Caroline Kimwele, KUTV.
You know how they say that no billionaire got to being a billionaire or being a millionaire with salary? I think that statement is quite okay. And a move or shifting to having skill-based technical training is or might be the way to curbing the crisis that you're having in the country of youth unemployment. So for the previous narrative that has been there in the minds of young people that I want to pass my education, I'm not saying you should not pass your education or your studies in high school and campus, but the initial notion that we had that I'll go to school, I'll get an A, I'll go to campus, and then I'll have this white-collar job where I'll be going to office and all that. Trust you me that most of those people you're seeing very early in the morning going to work, most of them, their salaries are ranging between 20,000 and 70,000 Kenyan shillings. And with this current economy, no one is going to save themselves or free themselves from the cycle of from hand to mouth with that. So embracing technical training or technical skills or business might be the only way to serve ourselves as youths of this country. Because, like they say, I saw someone say that Sihami Kenya, and then it was replied to that as if you have an option. So most of us who don't have an option of moving out of this country, technical skill is the only way. Now, still on the topic, technical skills, lobby groups and glass bottle manufacturers have raised serious concerns over the growing trend of unsafe bottle reuse in Kenya. According to human rights organizations, the unchecked collection and resale of used liquor bottles without proper sterilization pose a grave health risk to consumers.
During a press meeting with journalists, lobby groups and glass bottle manufacturers raised an alarm over the health concerns of Kenyans following influx of unsafe reused glass bottles. According to human rights lobby groups, unchecked mushrooming of glass bottling companies are collecting used glass bottles, especially liquor bottles, without proper fumigation. The lobby is demanding that mandatory and public audits of all glass bottling companies to verify strict adherence to sanitation standards, the bottles be clearly labeled reused, severe penalties and shutdown orders for any company found selling drinks in unsafe reused glass bottles. A national public awareness campaign warning consumers of the dangers of unchecked bottle reuse. Legislation requiring traceability and certification for every reused bottle before it reaches the market. Bottles used by the public should be subjected to vigorous detoxification, sterilization and cleansing under the supervision of kids before being reused by the public. All reused bottles are to be crushed and recycled into new bottles before they enter the market.
The Department of Health is aware of this, but there's nothing they're doing to help Kenyans. These bottles contain pathogens. These bottles are toxic, contain toxics. These bottles is unhygienic, and these bottles should be repackaged and taken to a company that is well established and licensed, a company that can crush them and bring more.
Consumer advocates have accused regulatory agencies, including the Kenya Bureau of Standard KEBS and Public Health Authority, of failing to address the issue and protect the public from potential health threats.
And cullet is also we use it as raw material for recycling, because we normally make the eco care for the environment, so we bring back to the company so that we can reuse it, and it's also economical for maybe oil as we are using in our furnace. So as you can see here, that is where the entry point from the washing center from cullet plant.
With public health on the line, concerned groups are urging authorities to act swiftly before the situation spirals into a full-screen health crisis. Edward Nyamo, KUTV.
Right, now that is on the news update this morning, and just before we go for a break and coming back with the newspaper review, if you're a person who goes to clubs, let me not say clubs, let me say joints, you've come across these glasses that are, you look at it and you're like, see inakaa kama chupa ya pombe, and then it's cut some way. So as this move was beginning, we were saying that this is a way of creating job opportunities, and when we are creating vessels and all that, that is vases for flowers, we saw it's a good move. But right now, there's a new directive that it may be harmful to your health. So as you use it, also remember that's information by NEMA or by Kenya Bureau of Standards. So at this point, we're taking a very short break here on Biashara Tuesday, Rise Today. We'll be back with newspaper review, joined by Ojuang Mariam and Emmanuel Kutosi this morning, and we'll also be playing Kenya at 50, where pressure is indeed pressuring. So that will be coming after this break.
This is Earth Check, the program where we keep you up to date on matters concerning the environment, various stories on matters happening concerning conservation of our dear planet, the one and only that we have. Right here on Earth Check, we are on a series concerning genetic modified organisms.
Modified crops are as safe or even safer than traditionally bred crops.
And their impact on the environment and also their role within it. My name is Emmanuel Kutosi, and this is Earth Check.
Hi, my name is Stella Tioi.
Jina langu naitwa Okemwa Mwokoa James.
This is Mandela Gaya.
Ugonjwa ulipokuja ulichukua siku 3 ukaniweka in coma. 20 wamezikwa, 2 ndio wako hai.
I don't even know how it feels to see.
I feel like I cannot express myself well the way somebody who can walk can actually express themselves.
Ilichukua muda mwingi mrefu tena mpana ili kuikubali kwamba mimi siwezi tembea tena.
I've come to actually accept myself.
Ukijaribu kumsimamisha mtu umwambie tafadhali nionyeshe njia,
They find it quite strange talking to you.
We should just make schools integrated,
Inclusive setups.
by providing the right facilities.
Maelfu na maelfu ya wahamiaji wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
But folks, I'm going. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani.
Pepo pasi vuguvugu, pepo pani idea.
Sazidi ananyonya, hanyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na waasi wa ADF.
Kwa sasa wanatoa wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo hili.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili, hiyo inaenda kupelekea kupambana
kupambana na virusi.
Ni Duniani Leo, Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, moja kwa moja kutoka VOA Swahili, Washington DC.
Ni nguzo na uso wa jamii. Kupanda shuka, akawa tuzo. Ukakamavu wake, ukatii na kumfanya mwenye bidii. Kwa machozi na makeke, akabaini jinsi ya kuwini. Huyu ni mwanamke ngangari, kwa jinsi alivyo ng'ari. Mimi ni mwanamke mwake. Usikose kutazama kipindi cha mwanamke mwake, nami Caroline Kimwele.
Access to knowledge, solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more, only on Law Matters.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audiovisual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV Studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4255 or SMS us on 0739-110-544. KUTV, a new experience.
Naam, karibu tena mpenzi mtazamaji, hapa ni KUTV, kipindi hewani ni mitindo ya kipwani na niko pwani napunga upepo wa bahari Hindi. Raha iliyoje mpenzi mtazamaji kuungana nami jamani kwenye mitindo ya kipwani. Inafahamika kama North Coast Beach Hotel. Hii ndio hoteli ya kifahari ambayo imenipa mwaliko na ambayo imedhamini kipindi cha mitindo ya kipwani. Kipindi chenyewe unaletewa moja kwa moja kutoka hapa KUTV kwenye kipindi cha mitindo ya kipwani, yani kinarushwa mbashara kutoka North Coast Beach Hotel. Mpenzi mtazamaji, hali ndio kama ilivyo.
All right. This is the newspaper review. You're just in time for it. And we have had so many things going on this morning, including a play, the game that was just ongoing on how well you know the country or how well you know Kenya. And right about now, it is time for the newspaper review, something that we've all been waiting for this morning, on the developments that have been happening in the country for the last 1 week or so since we last saw each other and everything that surrounds it. And given prominence this morning is the discussion around Albert Ojwang. But before the late Albert Ojwang. But before we get into that discussion, the panelists are already in studio this morning. I will give the gentlemen a chance to say their names and introduce themselves. I'll begin with my close right.
Yes, thank you, sir. Good morning, everyone. My name is Deseb. I'm known as Ojwang Mariam, Senior Warrant Officer 1, or Lieutenant Kanali, Kenya Nae, Batu Kenya wake usikenye. I'm a youth leader, inclusion advocate. What else do I do? I'm a media personality, awards winning, and I'm very happy for you, madam, for winning Emerging a Female Media Personality of the Year at the Equal 2025. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's a journey we are proud of. Hadi Kutosi ako proud of that.
Thank you.
Asante sana. I'm ready for the newspaper review today. I'm sad as Ojwang, and we must continue seeking for justice in every platform that we get. If it's on University TV, we do that. If it's on the streets, we do that until we are understood. If that's the language they can understand. If they want us to take back to 1992, we will go back to 1992 aware of ourselves. It will not be the same.
Thank you. Karibu sana. Jose?
I am a guest of Sylvia ANYANGO on the Biashara Tuesday show. That is the first thing that I note. And secondly, my name, Emmanuel Kutosi. I believe I'm an astute journalist, critical, political pundit in ways, and also a keen observant member of the public in my capacity as a Kenyan citizen of matters that are happening, and also of the higher role that I have and I take serious note of as a journalist, which serves as that public aspect connection, particularly on matters happening in the country, and also creating that necessary clarity. And I am proud to be here today, particularly on this day, a day when the National Assembly will be diving into the proponents of the finance bill as we walk towards a region that was not that beautiful last year. There are many things that are happening within that spectrum, and particularly also the matter concerning Albert Ojwang and his unfortunate demise in the hands of our nation's protectors. And also, I appreciate that it also casts the light on various aspects that I believe you're going to dive into, because I think currently the one thing that maybe the Kenya Police Service is proud of is maybe being a good football club within the Premier League, but there are a lot of other issues that need to be addressed so that at least the name, the National Police Service, does not move back to what it was before as the National Police Force. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kutosi,
yeah,
for making time for us this morning. Now, let me just begin from the point you've left us on in introduction, Kutosi, about being a keen observer of the state. And yesterday we saw the father of the late Albert Ojwang give a statement thanking the president for making a personal initiative of calling him and even offering, I should not say compensation, let us use the word donations to aid the burial process. And this was 2 million Kenyan shillings. And we've also seen a situation where the county government of Homa Bay, is keen on restoring peace, or rather compensating, and it has offered to build a 2-bedroom house for the family. Now, as a keen observer of the state, would you consider this as a way of toning down the jitters surrounding the death? And you know, the family also said that it's now stepping back and giving IPOA an opportunity to conduct the investigation. What is your take about this gesture by the government?
I believe the gesture is not particularly from the government per se. It's from President William Ruto. And seeing that even we are rather on the week that was heading towards Father's Day, if you are Kenyan who was able to connect with the video of Albert Ojwang's father inquiring concerning the end of his son, you would be someone who would be touched. not only for a father or a parent, but even as the common Kenyans. Because what we can say is that the president ametoa pesa ya matanga, and we appreciate that because it means it's a gesture which means it also connects with him. Not only him, even the Right Honorable Raila Odinga made a donation of 1 million shillings. Let's not look at the amount, but the gesture itself. It means they do connect because our president is the father of children and also of sons, one who also ensures that we have interesting rides in the matatu sector. And not only that, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga is not new to the idea of losing a son. He's a man who was lost his son, the late Fidel. And it was something that was also hitting for the family. So they can connect with this. And it is sad that this would happen to someone even within that region of the Nyanza region, but it has happened. However, there are some utterances, particularly from the political class, that still put to question the realization of the gravity of the matter, because it may be one life, but it is one life that is illuminating issues that are within our system. And maybe if you would allow me, I would really appreciate if the director team can be able to play a video of Suna MP Junet Mohammed in his submission in Parliament on the 12th of June concerning this matter, because it was utterances that I will let you also interact with and tell me what you think about them, kindly.
Okay. Let's see if we'll get that played. Ojwang, concerning the same, what do you make of it? Before we get to that, let's listen to the submissions by Janet.
Yeah.
Mr. Speaker, as people from the Fish Lake region, we are grieving, Mr. Speaker. We have lost a very young, prominent young boy, Mr. Speaker, who had a very bright future. But when I see people taking advantage of it politically, Mr. Speaker, I feel very sad, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I am very happy that you directed the Committee of National Security to look into this matter, and also the police and the Independent Police Oversight Authority. Mr. Speaker, I want a report as soon as possible so that we know what happened to our son as people from the South Nyanza region, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, let us not politicize this matter. If you want politics, kill your son and go and mourn on your own, Mr. Speaker.
All right, that is the submission by Janet Mohammed. What do you make of it?
If you were to listen to him, he began very well, but in my opinion, he ended very badly. That statement, that utterance first, yes, Ojwang is a son of the Lake region, but more, he's also someone who Kenyans have identified with as one, a young person, a young active person, an environmentalist, someone who was out there beating all the issues that usually overrun most of our youth. When you adopt him, I understand it. But when the final utterance made by the honorable member, I believe it's something that the National Assembly should also consider to strike off the Hansard report. Because what did he mean when he said, if you want to politicize it, kill your son? It's not sensitive, it's something that is off, particularly as a representative of people within a constituency. I find it off, very off, and I believe it's something that even the speaker should not have allowed to have gone within the Hansard, because however much he was emotional, that statement was off. The matter of considering it being politicized, the death of Ojwang came and we had a statement that was submitted. It is from the agitation from the people, who are the political masses, that was able to move it to where we are seeing it right now. And we are seeing people being accountable. We had a submission that the young man hit walls, even with the question that were there no walls in Homa Bay, that he would come and strike the ones that are here. There are all submissions that were made. And there are submissions that some of them, unfortunately, they were taking advantage, or rather, for lack of a better word, insulting the intelligence of the common Mwananchi. And when you listen at what he has said, I believe it's something that he should actually recant, take back. And allow the process to go on, because the death of Ojwang has left Homa Bay. It's now a national thing. And also with the fact that there are more than 20 people who are yet to be known where they are from June 26th last year. More than 20 people are yet to be known where they are. However much, we have that report from the Honorable President that people have returned home. There are people who are still missing. There are still those families that, due to time, the limelight is not on them. And the issues that they are facing are concerning their children who are missing for being vocal. We still also need to know, okay, this is what happened to Ojwang so far. You also need to understand the motive behind it. You've seen various statements. I think today the Constable James Mukwana amended his statement. And now he's been pointing his bosses for directing him to take, for lack of a better word, the message is teach Ojwang a lesson for defaming the Deputy President in the second page of the Daily Nation. And and according to him, he added that Mr. Talam, the OCS, gave him 2,000 shillings to buy alcohol for people who would beat up Ojwang. That is painful to hear as a Kenyan. And at this moment, you are cautious of even the police officers, which should not be a thing. You should feel secure among them. But it brings the question to the common mananchi, what is happening? And I believe I will have to end it there.
All right. That is a very good submission from you, Kutwasi. Thank you so much. Now, coming to your Ojwang, concerning this whole situation of donations and justice must be found and the current tone down, allowing IPOA to work on the case, what do you make of it?
Everything we have been doing in accordance with the Constitution of Kenya 2010. That has been stamped by the former president of Supreme Court of Kenya, Honorable David Maraga. If we have been doing these things in accordance to Constitution, and we're being killed in police stations like animals, it means then we have to rethink how we are living as a country. We started with high profiles being killed. Tukatoka hapo hivyo tukasema haya ni sawa basi. Kakuwa mtoto wa maskini ndo anauliwa, and no one questions. Polisi wanatoka hapa wanaingia mpaka Homa Bay. Unajua comrade akitaka kutoka hapa aende Homa Bay, na pengine nyumba yao ni ya matope kama yenye imetoka kubomolewa ya kina Ojwang. They have to plan for that journey. Watafute mpaka fare. Sometimes it takes even 2 days kupata tu fare ya kwenda home. But the cops, even wale ambao wanataka kujitoa lawama kama DCI ya mimi, still went and came to Nairobi. The father followed them to Nairobi, akitry kuona ni wapi wataniitisha cash bill. Manze niwekelee hii title yangu. Hawakueka any of that into regard. They still went ahead and killed the young man, that 1 year of age. A teacher, if you only knew how important a teacher is in this life. Na sisi tukaenda kuseek justice. We've been doing that. Kazi hata tunaitagua kuna watu walitwa digital workers. Those people who called us digital workers nowadays are in courts, fighting battles they believe they will win someday because they have money, but they are in courts, meaning whatever they were saying was not something that is right. Sahi Muhua na yeye ameamua kama hawa watu wanataka kuniekelea lawama, basi sote lawama iwekelewe wapi? Hapa. Hata yule mwenye anapeana pesa kona lawama pia. We start from the top. The President William Ruto, mwenye alisema in international media yote ikiona. Why am I saying international media? Tulikuwa na president wa Finland. Before president wa Finland akuja hapa Kenya, President Ruto claimed that we don't have abductions in the country. We don't have torturing in the country. We don't have forced disappearances and being held incommunicado against the Constitution of Kenya. But on that day, akasema ni ukweli hizi vitu ziko. Lakini guys, tumemaliza na mtawaisikia. We are used to President Ruto speaking like this, even pre-2022. alisema under my watch hakutawahi kuwa na vitu kama hivyo. 2017 we had the cases of Biashara. So yeye kurudi ape mtu 2 million. Imagine, Sylvia, I take your son, I kill your son under my orders and then I give you 2 million.
It's not total orders.
Listen to me.
Not verified yet.
Listen to me. Before DIG Lagat stepped aside, Muhwana was the suspect. From Muhwana, we went to OCS Talam. We will climb the ladder. And once you climb the ladder, you'll find that the buck does not stop with DIG Lagat. And that's why David Maraga is calling for resignation of IG Kanja. Kama tushafika hapo hivyo kwa IG Kanja, mimi na watu wote wa Mount Kenya, Totile na Agaja, even the President Ruto is involved. Then you calling and giving 2 million, another person calling, giving 1 million, this family needs this money. I wouldn't say the family was chukue pesa. Before hata walete hizo do, akina Eric Omondi walikuwa washaanzisha michango, akina Hanifa Falsafi walikuwa washaanzisha michango. Ndo huyu mtoto wa Ojwang akigrow ajuage, your dad died for Kenyans, fighting the powers they believed could not be touched. And now they are being touched. He did his part. He fought. The father can be criticized by Kenyans for taking that money. But even if he refuses the money, it doesn't mean that these people are sorry. They are not sorry at all. That's why we need to keep pressing until justice ifike. If poverty is the enemy tulisema, then watu watoke, kama ni pesa inapeano chukua hata kama ni kwa campaign, si ndio? Kama pesa nitatokea niende kwa campaign mali naweza rushiwa tear gas nichukue. Hizi 2 million zenye ameletewa hapo kwa nyumba, wacheni ajengee na asomeshe huyo mtoto. Huyo mtoto one day, one time ata grow. Maybe he could be some of the greatest people in this country. Just because of what his father did. 13 years ago, Sylvia, DCI Amin mwenye bado haja step down, but managed to shift the blame from DCI, akisema kazi ya DCI ni ilikuwa tu kumleta mpaka pale hivyo kwa OCS Talam. I mean, in 2012, had the same case of a British citizen being murdered in the same way as Albert Ojwang in a police station. It's on page 8, Standard. Santi.
All right, you have made quite accusations to the government. I hope you can substantiate that when called
I'm
to
reviewing
order.
the newspaper review. Everything I've said is on this paper review.
All right.
On the Standard. From the cases of Amin being involved with cases like those of Albert Ojwang, it's on page 8. The story of a British citizen that died in Nairobi, Kenya in the year 2012 under DCI Amin. Under the same circumstances. It's not accusations.
All right. Now, let me come back to you, Kutosi. Was there relevance? Because the whole country is seeking justice. The whole country is asking for accountability. And from where we sit as a country, we understand that all this can be attained only in courts, where a ruling is made and witnesses are presented and all that. So was there relevance in the whole of this matter being taken to Parliament for questioning and submissions and all that? Well, what was the relevance of that?
It was very relevant, Sylvia, because in the National Assembly is where we have the people's representatives. I would say that in quotes, but that is what is there. The members of parliament are elected representatives of the people, which means when the matter was within the corridors of parliament, it was being interrogated by Kenyans as a whole. That was the perception that was there. And it was very relevant because Ojwang's demise has gone beyond just a teacher from Homa Bay to an active young man who spoke out on something that we also are seeking to know. What is this defamation that would warrant death? You know, that's the space where we are in, particularly on getting that. And also the other fact that there are also other Kenyans who have lost their children, lost their brothers, lost their sisters in mysterious ways. And this is one case that we've been able to nab in the process. at least it can be able to shed some light and maybe some closure to what may have happened to these ones who we have not seen for at least a year, and we don't know where they are, yet they were taken by those who we would have trusted to be the protectors. Also, it brings the space for reforms. The Interior Cabinet Minister, Cabinet Secretary Murkomen has noted that there will be sweeping reforms within the police setup. We hope it's not sweeping away the reforms. It is reforms that will come in matters of ensuring that even at this moment, when we are seeing the playouts coming out, it also brings the space for accountability. Because now we are seeing the motions. Everyone is trying to show where and what happened. Where was I? This is my responsibility. This is where I was. It's going in a trickle-down motion from the bottom up until they find what led to this matter. And I believe it can be able to be something that will also be able to shed light on various issues. The safety that you have when you're in police custody, because that is the place you would not think you would be in such a situation. I believe the last place we had an issue of insecurity within a police station was in Mpeketoni, when there was a terrorist attack where the police station was attacked, but by terrorists. You see? But now, when you're in custody, everyone would assume you're in the safest place. You are surrounded by officers. You are surrounded by, they have an armory in there. Who would even come to tamper with you? But it's now becoming a questionable place. Now to restore that integrity, particularly of our police officers, because it's not all that are rogue. You have to understand that. But sometimes issues like this do come about so that you can be able to weed out the problematic issues within the system. At the same time, also make it like a deterrence that if you commit to go and do this in this manner, this will happen to you. Because if there's a chain of command, there has to be clarity on how it comes about. There was a complaint. Was the complaint brought on to a police station, registered in the OB, the way I'd go after I've been in a certain issue? Was that done? If there is lack of process, what does it mean about you? Are you a higher Kenyan? Is there such a thing as a higher Kenyan? You see, those are the matters that are going to come out, because now it will mean you will not just blindly follow orders. You'll also have to work on who has directed these orders, so that in case of anything, the follow-up can be made. It came from whoever to whoever. At least accountability can be met. And be sure, if we follow this process to the bud, one, it will also be a win for the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, because it's still an authority that is yet to gain its desired trust among the publics. So in moving to be able to execute this and actually investigate and get to the root matter of this issue, it is something that is going to, one, improve its credibility, at the same time improve the integrity within the police force, and also change even those who may be wayward within the force, because there are a lot of issues that have not been addressed. To date, from the year 2013, the registered cases, at least 20 people have perished in police cells. It's only this one that we are following up so keenly. There are several that have gone and have perished with time. Even as you peruse through the submission made by the Constable James Mukhwana, you're able to notice that he's pinpointing that he was supposed to be, this issue was supposed to be just watered down. But now it's coming upon him. That's why he's recanting. So he's not recanting even for the right reason. He's recanting because he's noticed he's about to be the sacrificial lamb. And if at all that is the matter, because it's all in an alleged atmosphere, we are yet to find that now officers will report correctly, will be truthful, because that is where they are charged. Utumishi kwa wote. That is what we trust should be the motto, and actually the active motion within the police service.
All right. Now, Ojwang, do you agree with Kutos's sentiments that the submissions in Parliament were relevant for this ongoing mission of seeking justice? And if so, do you think there is hope from the Independent Police Oversight Authority, that is IPOA, for them to conduct a just investigation, given that they are complaining of being underfunded and lacking, should I say, necessary equipments, or rather personnel who are well reimbursed and all that, having enough funding to conduct such investigations, because it's a whole investigation that should be going on right here. Do you think there is hope that justice will be served for the same?
I will always be on the hope side until I reach there and I find there's no hope. So, we start with this case being discussed in Parliament and the importance. I'll take you back to Constitution of Kenya 2010, Article number 1. After the preamble, Article number 1 talks about the sovereignty of the people and says, all sovereign power belongs to the people of Kenya and shall be executed only in accordance with the Constitution, COK 2010. The people may exercise their sovereign power either directly inamaanisha sisi tunaweza toka hapa leo tujisikie wewe na ofisi yako ya IPOA, tujisikie wewe na ofisi yako ya ubunge, wewe na ofisi yako ya urais au polisi, whatever it is, you're not doing the right thing. We will take it upon ourselves to exercise our powers sisi wenyewe directly by protesting, by demonstrating, by doing all these things that are granted to us after our forefathers fought for freedom and justice of this country pre-1963. Article number 37. Haya, inamaliza inasema, or through their democratically elected representatives. House and MPs, MCAs, and all the other representatives we elect after every 5 years. They should be discussing things that matter to us at the community level. We should be having a mbunge wa Homa Bay. Yeye ndio anapeleka hii kesi pale bungeni iongelelewe. We should be having others in courts, the judiciary, the third arm, wasukume. Pale hivyo kwa executive, ndo hapo unaona tunadanganya that the executive is doing something about Ojwang. That is why the president who sits at the helm of the executive at least anatoa 2 million pale hivyo. It's important tuongelee hizi vitu kwa bunge. Ndo, unajua shida yetu ni wabunge wetu wengi pale hivyo, wako pale hivyo just for a show, wako pale hivyo wapewe sitting allowance, wako pale hivyo wapayuke waende home. But hapo kwa bunge tunaweza pata justice. Ndio maana tunasemaga the weak link ni hii parliament. Wanafaa waongelele. Kwa nini wanafaa waongelele? Juu IPOA si poa. Isaac Hassan, what they are doing right now and the pressure we are mounting inasaidia sana. Wanajaribu kudilidali, take time, buy time so that things zikulie. You know, with time everything or everyone will heal. So wana buy time hivyo ndo tutulie, watu watulie, mazishi yafanyike huko kwa kina Albert Ojwang, wajengewe vile wanajengewa na Homa Bay County na vitu zitulie. But IPOA yenyewe tunafaa tukae chini, tuichunguze sisi kama wananchi, tujue tunataka IPOA inakaaje. Some of these reforms zililetagwa na David Maraga hazikuwa zisaidie polisi peke, zilikuwa zitusaidie sisi. Ndo polisi yache kukuwa force, ikuwe a service. Ndo wachage ati ukishamaliza form 4 masomo imekulemea, umelima D yako ama E, unaingia kiganja huko kwetu Nyeri, kimbia alafu kuwe polisi. Upande kutoka mechanic ukuwe DIG Lagat uanze kutuua huko. We should do better as a country and we can. There is hope for justice. That is why people like the Standard have not rested. On page wanaongelea kuhusu how they have been tackling and handling the Ojwang case on page 7. How Standard covered the Ojwang murder case. Walianza from time walisema killed by police. Watu wakasema hapana, hizo ni stories za jaba. Wakatoka hapo hivyo wakasema blood on their hands. Wakaweka mpaka picha ya Amin, IG Kanja na DIG Lagat. Wakatoka hapa hivyo shapeless top cops. Kutoka hapo hivyo today we are discussing about no, just resign. You can keep a track record of how things are escalating and you can be able to project mwisho kutakaaje ama kutakuaje in the quest for justice of Albert Ojwang. And anyone else mwenye anafikiria anaweza tu kaaga chini, anapewa orders za kuua watu kwa cell, anawaua tu. Kitawaramba sana, kitawaramba sana if people like Muhwana is saying mimi siendi chini peke yangu, and he has lawyers wenye wanajulikana juu ya kushindaga makesi, Danstan na Omari. They will drain the swamp, trust me. By the time hii kesi inaisha, utasikia IG Kanja akisema pole. By the time hii kesi inaisha, utasikia kuna mahali watu wengine wanaguzwa. Tell me, hizi vitu ambazo Albert Ojwang walikuwa wanajaribu kuexpose, how come ni za DIG Lagat pekee, a guy who was just a mechanic climbing the ladder of success? Kuna powers wanamsaidia.
All right. Now I want us to talk a little bit about politics and leave matters of Albert Ojwang aside. But before we do that, Ojwang, I'd like you to, not Ojwang, Kutosi, I'd love for you to give us your final take on the issue surrounding the death of Albert Ojwang.
Okay, in my final submission, I'll note that we've had an issue, particularly within Kenya, of extrajudicial killings. There was a time when we were able to fork out more than 38 bodies from River Yala. That was only something that would come out, particularly in an era where there was a lot of such issues. And that is what came out then. Before that, we've also had similar issues. Coming towards the 2022, around there was an issue within Nakuru concerning a gang that had come up. That was the confirmed gang, I believe. And there we also lost some lives in very questionable matters, because they are yet to be substantiated why. And for some, they were also the victims of stray bullets, and they also perished. We came up to the 25th of June. We also had people disappearing, others succumbing to bullet wounds. And so far, even the matter concerning Rex Masai, the ballistic reports say that he was not shot by the police officer in question. So you stand to be questioned what shot him, because the man is gone. We also had the issue within, I believe it's no longer, where we had a young boy who was shot. And for someone would actually ask, he's alive. We leave it there. We move on to... bullets. Yes, we move on to them recently. Now not the police service, but now within the KWS. Brian Odhiambo, a fisherman within Nakuru County, he's disappeared. He was arrested by officers that can be confirmed by witnesses who were there as he was being taken in. He's never been seen to date. And it's something that cuts across to various forces. We have various institutions that are there to take care of Kenyans. They are the white blood cells of this body that is called Kenya. And they have a role and a responsibility to ensure they do not become cancerous and eat up what Kenya is. Because we've come so far as a republic, we appreciate the struggle that was taken by those who were there then. And since we are the ones who are here now, we need to make it better so that the generations that come after us can also appreciate what happened now. So I believe the issues that we have and the ones that we are facing right now are an opportunity to change, and to change immensely.
Thank you so much. I hope this narrative of police officers saying that he or she was on the lane, alikuwa kwa barabara ya bullet, will not be a case in the coming days. Now let's shift gears to matters a little bit of politics. Tuongelee maneno ya familia, the cousins. Now, over the past year, since the ousting of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua to his formation of DCP party, a party that intends to, get all the elective positions in the Mount Kenya region, there is quite backlash from other parties from the mountain. This is Jubilee Party. And now kuna mvutano, Kalonzo sijui yaingie kwa serikali, anasema mimi siingie kwa serikali, mimi bado niko kwa upinzani. Kuna chama cha Jubilee, Secretary General Kioni akisema those advising Matiang'i to form his own party are brokers clinging to regional kingpin politics and are scared of a revitalized Jubilee. So there is the fight for the mountain right now. DCP, Jubilee, Matiang'i was previously fronted as Jubilee presidential candidate, and now he's being advised usifanye makosa ambayo Gachagua alifanya kuingia kwa party bila chama chako. So there is a whole conversation around kingpinship in this country, and it's kind of in response, or is it in retaliation to, we had the president say that he will not hand over power to those people who are saying Ruto must go, people should have agendas. So the current political temperatures in the country are not so much spoken of because we are all turned into Ojwang's murder. So looking at these that are ongoing, and it's a wave that is coming up because in the next coming week, we'll see this rising really faster. Let me begin with you, Ojwang. What do you make of this current political situation in the country?
The politics is boiling, and it's boiling nicely. Napenda vile iko kuchemka tu mdogo mdogo. In Mount Kenya, ndo kuna chemka zaidi now that the High Court of Kenya ruled in favor of the NDC, Jubilee Party's NDC at 2023, that declared the Kioni as the SG and the Vice as David Morathe. So now Jubilee is going to fight for its rightful place in Mount Kenya, because they are fronting it as a party of Mount Kenya, the same way they are fronting UDA as a party of Rift Valley region, and ODM slowly people leaving it to the people of Luo Nyanza. You go to Kisii, where Matiang'i comes from, the Jubilee Party candidate. He has his own party, UPA, United Progressive Alliance. It's a large party, but based in Kisii, Nyamira, hayo maeneo ya Gaki. And because of the factor ya our cousins, people like watu wa Mount Kenya wanasema hii Gaki could be Kenya, because they are all Bantus. Ni vile wao juu. Unajua vile Wakisiu kuwa na haraka hawakumali wanataka kusema Kenya ishi. And we the youths are supposed to be at helm of this politics, because all these people wanaongelea kuhusu future yetu. Ukisikia DCP, Democracy for Citizens Party, imetengenezwa, wanatengeneza wakisema nyinyi vijana tunataka mkuwe na maisha mema. Haya, wengine wanasema haya vijana. Kila mtu anaongelea vijana. Sisi kwani hatuwezi jiongelelea? We need to be there. We need to be active there. If you are not able to form your own party like other youths did, maybe through Kenya Ahadi Party, maybe through the Inject Party, hizo vyama vinakuja, get yourself to a party. Sijali kama mwenyewe ni mzee. These parties are vehicles. Ukiingia gari, wewe unajali dereva ako na miaka ngapi? The only thing mimi huwa najali kwa gari ni huyu konda, hii jaba yake, hii time ananiambia nilipe, atanitemea. Lakini itafanya nisiingie gari, unaona? So tukiwa hapo kwa hivyo vyama, si ni vya wazee. What is our rightful place at the table whereby they are discussing youths, na sisi hatuko hapo hivyo? Wameenda wamediscuss matters za vijana kama Ojwang, wametoa the wife hapo hivyo, wana concentrate na baba. So vyama hivi vinatuhitaji sisi kama vijana tujiamini ya kutosha, tukue intentional about it. Sisi vijana ni watu tunasemaga SYLVIA na kutosi tutapanga. Vijana are a perfect example of what Ruto is doing up there. Tuta. We never do. But if we get intentional in doing, then we will win a lot of seats, especially in parliament and MCA seats. We can have this power. Unaona bunge ikikuwa na vijana wengi kama wabunge, vitu zita change. Niulize kwa nini? There was a time tulikuwa tunapiga watu kama Mohaji Chopevu, juu ya vile waliingia bunge wakaenda wakabadilika. Wako na chance ya kubadilika. Mzee hana chance ya kubadilika, juu anashangaa. Wewe Sylvia Nyango, mtu nimeona tu juzi hata ujui DJ Pinya akiongelelea mambo ya trust issues. Unakuja kuniambia aje ati gava ifai Qurani hivi. So tuko intentional kiasi. Hapa namna gani?
You began being personal.
We need to be personal even with politics. Wacha kutoka pale hivyo ati sijui unakimbisha candidate ya Rigathi, unakimbisha candidate ya Kalonzo, unakimbisha candidate ya Maraga. One of them, if they die tomorrow, it means you don't have a future. What about your own candidature? It's personal, guys. We should make it personal if we are not doing it.
All right. Now coming back to Kutosi, we have former CS Moses Kuria hinting that he will rejoin Jubilee Party following the aggressive rebuild that is on the Daily Nation. sio maneno yangu, hayo ni maneno ya Daily Nation. And President Ruto said that most commentators say that they don't see a man fit to, compete with President William Ruto on the 2027 ballots. And the president also said that he will not hand over power to those people who are chanting, Ruto must go. What do you make of this?
When you say that, I remember something I saw from a post from a young politician who doesn't know she's a politician. Alikuwa post something. Gen Z, if you don't decide who it is in 2027, bill a break. And I'll hold it there and tell her to continue doing what she's doing because it's also enlightening. But something I'll also pinpoint to, however much the president said he's not going to hand over power to those who say Ruto must go, the power may be in his hands, but it's donated power. I'll also piggyback and tell you that at some point, former President Uhuru said he's not going to hand over Kenya to a thief. He was alluding to someone. I will not say anything going further in that direction. And also, we've also been seeing a lot of rhetoric from the government side, and also from the ODM side, after their MOU with the Kenya Kwanza Alliance, that now it's time for development. Politics, we'll see it later. But when you look at matters on the ground, they are going for the Swahili proverb, chelewa chelewa utampata mwana si wako. They've seen the DCP party coming from the claims of a very bitter former deputy president. His bitterness has mushroomed into a party, and now he's moving on the ways of trying to mushroom support for the party. And within regions where you are seeing now the current occupant of his former seat, that is the Professor Kithure Kindiki, also peering into various regions in empowerment drives. Empowerment drives, which is very good. Empowerment is good for the people, but also it's suspect, because you find, like, I think within the past week, we've seen them, like, after Rigathi Gachagua would call out the people of Eastern region cousins of the Mount Kenya people, there was a lot to beat that narrative. I find some mischief, for lack of a better word, from the government in saying that people should not be in politics. But at the same time, it's like for every banter that is coming from Rigathi in his newfound place as an opposition leader, they really go against it so hard. If at all we were clear about not playing politics at this time, I think they would let some things slide. The term of cousins has not only come from the former deputy president's mouth, we've seen it come out of the deputy president, we've seen it come out of the president himself, and even in the motions that we are seeing. In fact, I think it's the issue of the death of Ojwang that has more or less toned down to the political drumbeats. And also it has also become a subject within the political angles, because it's just everywhere and there. So politics is on, DCP is there, Jubilee Party is struggling to maintain its dominance. For a rather big time after the 2022 elections, we saw a lot of members of parliament from the Jubilee Party sidestepping and leaving a husk of the Jubilee Party. And now, because we are literally heading into the election period, already campaign mode is already on within Kenya, because people are already dividing on several issues. We have the one-term slogans coming about, the Kazi Bila break situations, the two terms. All that is political banter in the subject of development or agendas and everything. So everyone is already on top of vehicles, ensuring that they mushroom support for themselves, because there are some, if it's development, it doesn't really require that much banter. It will be visible, I believe. And also, for the former deputy president, and also you've noticed Senator Methu from Nyandarua County noting that kujenga ni kwa muda, kubomoa dakika moja. That banter is also something that you see. These are guys on an agenda. to maybe discredit the motions of the Kenya Kwanza government, which should actually be answered by active developmental projects, not just words. You see, but when there's an exchange of words, that's where the politics is. And there's a lot of drama that is happening in that arena. Within the Jubilee Party, Kioni is trying to hold ground because, for lack of a better word, it seems that Rigathi has been able to mushroom the mountain in a way that the Jubilee Party has been rather relaxed about. And now they're moving in that direction, trying to stake their claim. But I believe, in my own perception, or as a political analyst, I'd see that it will only serve to divide the vote bloc within the Mount Kenya region, because for a very huge percentage, even from various polls that have been carried out by various firms, you'd see that there's a lot of dissent from the Mount Kenya region concerning the current government. But with this, I believe all it will be able to put out is a divided opposition, which is actually something I believe even the current president is banking on. Because as long as you're divided, then it's all for the taking. Because in real sense, we are yet to see, or rather, there is yet to come out that one person, or rather that one, or the second horse that is going to chase after the current president as he seeks to take his second term in office. And within the vision, a lot can happen. So we're just still watching it out, but the Mount Kenya region is about to be a divided place if they do not find a common ground within the DCP and the Jubilee Party as it is, because you cannot discount the support that each of these parties have within that region.
That is very much well said. I love the statement you made that chelewa chelewa utapata mwanasi wako.
Yeah.
And the ODM is really running with it, because recently we've seen Sifuna say that as from where we stand, our MOU, that deal is no longer functioning. And you know, when Sifuna speaks,
ODM has spoken.
ODM has spoken. Now, this leaves us with a question of, do we see a looming fallout between the agreement between the ODM party and the UDA party?
It would be too close to call it, but it would not be wrong to call it. It's too close to call it, but it's something that if you look from a distance, you can see there is something that is, there are partners who are just in a turbulent situation. It's like a convenience marriage. And for reasons that the values of the various parties will come to move into, because you're seeing, this is not the first time we've seen an issue from the ODM side. We had an issue when the National Assembly, there was an issue within the judicial system, and it was noted that the Azimio side is a majority. We had a shake-up there of that broad-based situation. We are seeing it right now with the matters concerning abductions and forced killings. It's also creating turbulence. We don't know what the next will be, but probably if you were to call it, you'd not be wrong that there may be another shake-up that is about to happen that will see ODM and UDA say two.
Yeah. As well, do you see a looming fallout between ODM and UDA?
You know, the Secretary General, Edwin Sifuna, is a man who is between a rock and a very, very, very hard place. You are in opposition, but your party is in government. Liwe ya kuongea ukweli inakosekana. Because today you tell us that we don't have an MOU. Tomorrow you tell us the MOU we signed sijui aina hii. Tomorrow you the next day you tell us you are not part of the government. The other day you tell us you are here to help the government. That's why you've donated CSS. And you're still there. Martin Shukuku, an MP called Serone, they told Jomo Kenyatta that this Kanu is going to die. He did not believe it. Do you know why? Because after Kenyatta, Kanu went on to rule for more 24 years. Marriage of conveniences have been there through that journey of 24 years. Tuende mahali karibu sana, sijui kama ulikuwa umezaliwa. 92 inani affect sana. Na 97. You see, you cannot teach new tricks to an old. But a new one or a young one can learn the old tricks. We were not participating, but we've learned the tricks. They did the tricks. Will the tricks still work on us as it was in 1992? I'm talking about the card ya kuseparate a region. Chukua Rigathi, chukua Uhuru Kenyatta, wapiganishe Mount Kenya. That happened in 2022. Do you think in 2027 Mount Kenya will make the same mistake? What I'm foreseeing, by 2027, maybe February 2027, the whole of Mount Kenya will be supporting one presidential candidate. Because if they do not do that, then we are bound to fail, and Ruto is bound to take another chance at the State House. That is why he's doing a lot of facelifts. He feels he has played the game before as a young student in Nairobi University, and a girlfriend from Kenyatta University, CU, Rachel. They won. Will they win this time? It's upon us. Kuna tactics mingi sana zinatumika za kufanya vijana waogope sana, including online monitoring. Online monitoring is something that will be there today, tomorrow, at a future. What do we do? Tunaishi na uoga sasa now that we are being monitored.
There is actually a budget allocated to the Department of DCI for application of system that is supposed to monitor your internet usage, everything that you do on WhatsApp, Telegram, and everything in between. And it's not sure of the figure, but it's supposed to, it's given the name managing cyber crimes. But if we look at it keenly, it is something that is supposed to be monitoring every activity that happens online.
Aina shida. It's a good thing. It should happen so that we don't have people exploiting others. But my question is on the same. I went to campus to learn about solution-based answers. I went to campus to learn about sustainability. And I went to campus to be able to answer hard questions that affect me as a youth who is coming from ghetto. Nimezaliwa Majengo, Nyeri. Now that they are monitoring us, what do we do? Tutahama vile ambavyo mbunge anaitwa nani huwa the great North anasema tufanye Beatrice Elachi. Tutahama tutoke hii nchi yetu mahali ambako tulizaliwa, tutakaa hapa, si ndio? Tutatoka online turudi enzi za kina Methusela kule Dakich, tutakaa hapa, tuna improve mpaka AI, because we have to continue doing it whether they are monitoring or not. We are supposed to be our brother's keeper. Wewe wamekupata, si ndio? Kesi yako ni gani? Wamesema DIG Lagat amefanya vitu fulani, ni sawa, tutakusaidia hadi mahali tutaweza. If Kenyans walikuwa wameweza kufuata hii nini ya Albert Ojwang vile baba yake alifanya, huyo jamaa angekufa. Last year in 2024, around 25th June, watu walikuwa wanashikwa sana, wanaroundiwa off. Amnesty International, Law Society of Kenya, Coalition Defenders, wote waliungana, walikuwa wanaishi kwa police stations, wanasema hey, wewe wakwenyu akishikwa tuandikie police station nako, tuje tuendeleze mambo ya freedom and social justice. There is a reason our forefathers died. Yes, hawakushinda, because you know the history teaches us that our forefathers won. They did not win, but they fought until tukakuwa na bendera yetu, si ndio? That should count, so that hiyo mission yenye walikuwa wameendeleza tumalize. Bado tunaishi kwa ukoloni. Ni vile mkoloni wa sasa sio mweupe, but juu ya pesa kuna wengine wamekuwa weupe. So unaona vile una glow. Mkoloni wa sasa sio mweupe, unaona? Ni yule mzungu anakuja, anashika Ruto, anampinya mahali, anamwambia hustler number 1, we see you from Sugoi. Tunataka ufinye hawa watu through pale hivyo kwa taxes. Tunataka ufinye hawa watu through abductions. Tunataka control narratives this way. Ni lini sisi kama Waafrika tutasema haya basi ni sawa? Burkina Faso wamejaribu, wamefika pale. Si hata sisi tujaribu kiasi. Tujipiganie. Na si lazima jeshi chukue hii nchi. Why? Juu kama saizi hatuna jeshi yenye tunaweza trust. It's the same question vile President Ruto anauliza, amongst you who is man enough to bail me the cat? For these things to happen, we must be able to look. Sisi kama vijana, naongelesha vijana juu wameja hapa hivi. Lazima tuangalie strengths za President Ruto ni gani, na weaknesses zake ni gani. Ndio kama ni kungolewa ngo, kitu cha kwanza.
You're going for a battle mode.
Yeah.
I'm feeling the vibe of Goliath and David all of a sudden.
President Ruto is a tactful person. tactful. President Ruto is a ground mobilizer. President Ruto is persuasive, and he is a debater. He knows how he can convince huyu aingie box. Kalonzo ndo amekataa kidogo, but si hata nyinyi mnajua Kalonzo. Baba aliyeko box. What are his weaknesses? And with that, we want to capitalize on. One, he has no political goodwill. As a president, mimi nikakuwa president leo, manze Mungu akanibariki nikuwe kitu kaa hicho, I would just be the president and let my CS be CSs, let my MPs be MPs, let my police be police. Ndo muhua naacha kupewa vitu orders na follow orders za ufala kama hivi. Wewe ni agent akuambiaje? Ati chukua 2K, lipa watu kadhaa, wacha waumize hawa. Hiyo ni weakness ya President Ruto. Kitu cha pili, uchumi umemshinda. Umemshinda design yenyewe, alikuja na manifesto moja kali tena zaidi. It had a name, the plan. Na akaanza kusema wale ni waganga, hawana plan. After ameshika usukani, akasema nikiweka Biblia chini, haya yatafanyika. Alipoweka Biblia chini, hayo yote yalishindikana. Akaondoa Rigathi, akamtupa huko nje, akachange CS, akaleta ule mganga mwenye alikuwa anasema ni mganga, ikashindikana. Saizi tuko hapa wanataka kuleta Kalonzo Musyoka, inashindikana. It's a weakness.
Alright.
Kitu cha pili, hana watu wenye wako loyal kwake. Loyalty is loyalty when you're not buying it. If I have to pay Kutosi to say, Ujwang, unafanya kazi nzuri, that's not loyalty. Loyalty is people being there. Unaona kama watu wa baba, kama baba anataka kutokea hapa hivi, watu watokee, mobilization bila pesa. That's loyalty. If Gachagua atatokea hapa hivi, haijalishi vile watu wanamchukia, watu watatokea. Amefanya kitu testing, ameingia Ukambani akawaita Kuzo, wakafurahi sana. Akaingia Costa akawaita Kuzo, bado tumenice na hiyo kitu. Siku hizi hata tukikatia madem tunaanza na high cousin. Akismile unajua uko 20% ndani ya box. Hey.
Alright, okay. Now, I will give you chances to give your final remarks on the two conversations we've had this morning. There's quite a lot in the newspapers from the matter breaking down the budget and now the finance bill, but we won't get into that this morning because we're about to play a game. Before that, Kutosi, I'll begin with you as you give us your final remark concerning the two conversations that you've had this morning.
I appreciate Ojwang can be quite animated. I hope when he finally holds the realms of power, he'll not forget his friends and decide to make them disappear because you've seen how political friendships can go about. I hope that the young dog will not learn the tricks of the older ones, and he'll be that person who can be able to be trusted at that time. Because I believe you're going in that trajectory, your tongue is speaking it. I hope you get there, and when you get there, I will not join you, but I will call you out because I'll be on this space. So do not do this to me, okay?
Kama kuna tunapenda ni accountability and responsibility. Hizo vitu zinaniweka in check.
Do not do this to him.
Yeah, do not do that.
I need brains like Kutosi. I need brains zenye ziko.
Do not. I also want to be part of your cabinet. I will tell you that. But let's move on to the matter of closing the matter. We have a lot of issues that you've talked about, particularly the one thing that is very key within the Kenyan population currently, which is the demise of Albert Ojwang within the custody of police officers. I believe it's something that is going to assist us going forward as we come to unravel each and every issue, the motive, and also being able to delineate that no one is above the law. I believe it will be something that will also be able to talk to the matters concerning the 25th protest, the disappearances of various of our colleagues, the youth, active voices that were airing their dissent and expressing their values within the streets of Nairobi, those who were shot, those who were captured, those who were clobbered, and clobbered, I must say. And it is something that is not right, because if you give the right, there's that dispensation, needs to be, there needs to be room for that. Also concerning matters concerning the online space, it is a space which is quite wide, but still there still needs to be more of a direct or rather clear legislation concerning it, so that I can be able to know when I've crossed the boundary, because even in speaking within our Kenyan setups, we speak and someone may talk badly to you, but to escalate to a point of being a determinant between you living and not living. It's not something that should be there. So I believe the National Assembly has a lot to do in matters of clarifying the various legislation concerning the online space. Politics, we'll have politics. We're already in politics. If we were not in politics, if the Deputy President was in the various regions only for empowerment drives, we will not see the intention to woo the Wiper leader. Because if you're wooing him, what are you saying? It's more political. Also, we are already in a political atmosphere. We are moving in that space. And it's something that is appreciated. It's part of our democratic space. It's something we appreciate. And also, we appreciate the awakening that is happening among Kenyans concerning various issues that are coming about. Happy belated Father's Day to all the fathers out there. We appreciate them greatly. We appreciate because we're able to see the pain of a father after losing a son. And it's something that I believe most fathers, even the ones who, for lack of a better word, were more quite responsible, they think they thought twice. I think it was a comeback to Jesus moment of thinking about various things that we've done in our various capacities, particularly as men. And also we appreciate the fact that we're within the Mental Health Awareness Month for men. And for all the men out there, Mungu atusaidie. That's all I'll say.
Mungu awasaidie. It is Ojwang, kindly, I'll give you, in fact, you were nakupea less than a minute.
Nipe hata 45, nataka hata mimi kucheza. Na nitaanza hapo hivyo pa Mungu atusaidie. There was a time we used to believe as a country that Raila Odinga is our savior. Every time kuna kitu mbaya, Raila Odinga. But today, we don't have no one to cry to. That's why Kutosi now is intentionally asking God to come and see us through kwa hizi vitu zote zenye tunaongelelea. But I would like to give personal reflection to the people. Hii civic education ya saa hizi, iwaendee makarao for lack of a better word. Sometimes calling someone police and calling someone karao, I feel like they are two different things. We have a lot of karaos and not police in our streets. Iko hivi, kuna kitu inaitwa mchezo wa tauni, and you will be accountable and responsible for your own deeds. Constable Muhwan, yeye ndiye ako ndani. DIG Lagat, yeye ako nje. But nani ndo alipeana order? A lot of times vijana wakishikwa pale hivyo kwa karao, karao wanatakaga kila time maonyeshe huyu kijana ako in power, maybe through kuwapiga or kuonyesha tu. These things huwa zina happen juu Wakenya hawajaisoma na kuielewa katiba vizuri. That's why telling a cop najua rights zangu is a crime in itself. But wewe jua tu, hawa watu ile siku watataka kukuweka under the bus, sisi Wakenya wenzako bado ndio utakujia. Can we learn to be a little bit humane? Kama unataka kutesa mtu, jiulize kesho, can you handle the same? Kama unataka kuwa corrupt, uitishe mtu mapesa hawezi pata, sijui ndio apate service fulani kwa karao, jiulize wewe mwenyewe kesho utaweza? Kwa Biblia kulikuwa na mtu anaitwa Jonathan. Huyo kijana alisave familia ya Saul in generations later just because of being kind to David. Let's learn to be kind as Kenyans. Ndio tuache kutusiwa kuitwa bitter. The reason the president is calling us bitter is because that's the truth. We are all bitter. But in all this bitterness, we're kind. We're kind. We're kind. The world will be a beautiful place. Yeah.
All right. Indeed, that was 45 seconds. Right, now let's get to this interesting, how well you know Kenya.
What do you want to do to us?
I don't do this to you guys. I mean, I'm also on the hot seat, but then, you know, so we don't have much time. We'll go one round. So it's always a team. So,
napenda zile efforts.
Pick a card.
Napenda zile efforts tuko nazo on KUTV Rise Today za kuinvolve.
You're not supposed to show him.
Oh, only short-sighted.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we are all in the same spectrum.
Unajua sometimes I keep thinking maybe mwingine anioni fiti. Bila mimi simuoni fiti, sorry. Yeah.
So, you know the drill, how the game goes.
Hatujui how the drill gani. You know, mimi nimezoea mahali tunaambiwa usilete mchezo kwa kazi. Nao mwenye kazi ndo anatupea. Mwenye kazi ndo anatupea mchezo.
So, this, you're having several words, and then you will try to make us say the words by giving us hints. Yeah, so, for example, if let's say KU, the word is KU, I'll be saying it's a university along Thika Road, you know. So you're giving hints. If you're having, I don't know if any of you is having a card that is a locked card.
What do you mean by locked?
No, not a locked card. A card that has a red upper juu. So hapo chini, if you, yeah, it's called forbidden card. So hapo chini, there are words that you're not supposed to use if you're describing any word there. Yeah. So, I don't know, I should begin by, let me begin by myself. So, the first one,
rules, how is winning?
Oh, winning, the person,
Ama si ya queen.
It's a winning thing. The person who wins, the person who gives, is giving correct answers. But for now, because we are an even, you are your own team. All right? So I'm my own team, you're your own team, he's his own team. So I'll be giving words, and then I'll give suggestions so that you can give the names. All right. Now the first word, it is a song that was sung by Bien, and the song, it was mostly black women. Okay, we are all black, but they were wearing ankaras. It's a Luya word. Now you're supposed.
Ni mimi niseme.
Yeah.
It's a Luya word.
Yeah. You can also join in.
It's a Luya word.
Yes, it's a song sung by Bien.
It's a name of a song or a
Yes.
title of a song we are after.
Yes.
A song by
Bien.
Oh, niliona. Ilichezwa mpaka espresso.
All right. Okay, in Luya, it is ant. It means ant.
Senje.
All right, now that is the word. You give us your word.
Oh, sasa nisome yangu. Kuna heroine sana, kuna vitu kama hizo. Nani wanapunguza hizo vitu? Nani wako na hiyo mandate ya hiyo authority?
Nakada.
Sasa amesema mbele ama umesema mbele? I'm short sighted, sijaona fiti.
Yes,
Nina kada.
Anyway, after winning the money that you've given me, because things are tight, I decided to put it in my
account.
I'm sure she has the answer. You don't.
Wallahi.
Yeah, you don't.
Wait.
Yeah.
After winning?
After winning the amount that you've given me, it's just a small amount. Just a humble amount. But I want to keep it safe, so I kept it in my...
Oh, God. Is it bank?
What am I doing in a bank right now? This is a digital
Alright.
system. Yeah, cabbage.
Mfuko, pocket,
Investment.
M-Pesa.
No. What am I? Hey, there you just transact. But I just.
Hizi hint zake zinakaa za Kiganda. Mtu ashiki.
Another hint. Okay, it's not. It's a woman thing.
No, woman and I'm a man. What
Woman na
are you trying to
pesa.
say?
Pesa ni unisex bwana.
Okay.
I just placed it there for safekeeping, then I'm going to use it later.
Wallet. Safe.
No, it's not
It's
physical.
not- it's not
You've given
safe.
it to, you've sent it to me. So it's not in physical form, but I've placed it in there.
It's in like electronic money.
It's
like,
in, yeah, it's just within my, yeah, it's with me. Yeah. The word I was supposed to say, I was almost saying, "Hey, yo, you got it, bro."
M-Shwari.
Yeah.
M-Shwari ukitumiwa pesa, alafu hiyo namba uijui, kwanza unaekaga M-Shwari ndio uanze kutafuta mwenyewe.
M-Shwari.
Amesema 92 kwa mekuja.
All right. So I'm giving you the last one.
The last one. Hope si ngumu.
She's a media personality.
Sylvia ANYANGO.
No.
Hajasema award winning.
She's a media personality. When she was coming, she went out of media and then she came back. And when she was coming back, hey, men really watched the show.
Petty Charles.
Sawa basi.
Men watched the show.
Men.
That's interesting revelations. Men.
Yes.
How did they know it was men?
Biggest fans.
How did they know it was men?
If you know, you know.
From the other side of the screen.
If you know, you know.
Like, how do we know?
Let's end this from here. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for making time for us this morning.
Appreciate
This has been Biashara Tuesday. Thank you so much, you're at home, for making time for us. Now, you can have this, play with your family, your friends. How well you know the country. It cuts across all genres, in media, in politics, leadership, history, and everything in between. So that has been the conversation with Emmanuel Kutose. Thank you so much for making time for us. And Jag Mariam, thank you so much for making time for us. Now,
Learn that it is.
all right. Now, on behalf of the production team led by my director and producer, Ryan Gure, thank you so much for making time for us this morning. Until next time, bye-bye.
Nimekuchagua wewe nikupende mama, sitaki mwingine, aushi usiniache, usinitende mama, usipende